We've dove into the deep waters of the fourth Perek. Kinyan has Zahirus, B'derech Kinyan has Zahirus, and a quick review of what we're up to so far. The Mesilas Yesharim pointed out that there are different ways. The idea of where we're trying to get to is ma'or ourselves to the Chomer Avoda and the Omek Adin on it, but there are different ways that different levels of people will be ma'or themselves, and we made that point about how great it is that he's speaking to Arba Banim. He's speaking to people at the level that they're at, which we'll see in this session and coming sessions. And we said that the Shleimei Hadas, right, that's the highest level people, Shleimei, those of Shleimus Hadas, those who really have their heads screwed on very tightly in modern parlance, understand that there's nothing really worthwhile in the whole world besides Shleimus, and there's nothing worse than a Chisarn of the Shleimus. That's the shorish of what they understand. And they also appreciate the derech to do that, to get there. Well, what does it mean? How do I get there? Isn't mitzvahs. There's 613 ways to get there, etc. And therefore, they never want to do anything less than they can. Okay? So we pick up with in the paragraph of Shleimei Hadas, in the words Al Kain. So therefore, since they have this clear to them, they have their heads screwed on so tightly, Al Kain lo yivchru, they will not choose el laharbus behem, to be marba in all the conditions of a mitzvah. They look for more and more, right? Kadosh Baruch Hu says jump, they say how high. Ulahachmir b'chol tanayim, to be specific and exacting in all the conditions of a mitzvah, all the aspects of the mitzvah, all the different things around the mitzvah. V'lo yanuchu v'lo yishkos midaga b'davar. This is an important line. And they won't rest and they won't be quieted. Lanuach, like menuchas Shabbos. Laniach, lanuach, yanuach v'lo yishketu, and they won't be quiet. Aman Yerushalayim lo ashkot. Lo yanuchu v'lo yishkot midaga b'davar. They won't be quiet from their concern for this issue. Pen yachzer mehem mashiyigio tam al shleimas sherim chavetzim, lest, God forbid, something will be lacking for them from the shleimus that they desire. I've given this mashal before, but I want to give it again and explain it, and because I think the whole idea of a mashal, Mishlei Shlomo, no less than Shlomo used Mishalim, the Chavetz Chaim used Mishalim, the Magna, of course, used Mishalim. Rav Hutner was, very much perceived as a Jewish philosopher, or Abba Machshav, whichever language you want to use, but he used the Mishalim a lot. I had a recent chizuk in his book, in the book The Inner Life about Rav Hutner, which is absolutely amazing. Everybody should read it, top read in English, something incredible. And there it says that the Reshiva Rav Hutner would use Mishalim a lot. We also use Mishalim for getting messages across to others, but getting our message across to ourselves. And so one of the best Mishalim, I think, for this idea of Lo Yishketu V'Lo Yidigu, which is a little like severe and serious to us, but want to give a mashal where we see it in this world that people are like that. An athlete, Olympic athlete, when he hears about a new method, he jumps on it. Again, I apologize if some of this might be review. It's good to review, and I give things in different forms, so sometimes I repeat things. But my training is it's good to repeat things. Chazara, Rav Hutner said that without Chazara you become nothing. So if this Chazara, we hear the Chazara, and if it's not, let's hear a great new idea. Swimmers, do you know this? Swimmers shave their whole bodies. That's an interesting thing for a manly person. Us Orthodox men aren't showing off our chest hair that much, right? But in the non-Jewish world, like, it's a thing, it's manliness, all this stuff, and his arms, they shave off their body hair. I mentioned in Shir that swimmer in Yeshiva, I mentioned that swimmers shave off their legs. I was corrected by a dear Talmud, say, no, Rabbi, no, they shave their whole bodies. Okay, no beard. I think maybe there's some hair because they wear the head caps, but for sure they're not sporting beards, right? They're not rabbinical. So that's going to be a block from many of those listening from being professional swimmers. Sorry, guys, but there's other things to do. So why? Because Lo Yishketu Lo Yidigu Midava B'Davar, their shleimus is getting the gold medal, winning the world championships, Tokyo, Seoul, wherever the next Olympics is. They're waiting with bated breath to make it there, to that moment, and they know they're going to get how much can body hair slow you down? 100th of a second, 200th of a second. It can't be that much. I don't think anybody ever walked out of the pool. I swim. Oh my goodness. wow, the hair on the right leg was really slowing me down today. I felt the drag. It was like going through molasses. No, you don't feel that. You glide through the pool, but they're looking for that extra bottom. You tell someone, that avocado, pure cocoa without sugar, of course, berry mixed with little ginkgo is going to give you that advantage and clear out your system. They're going to take it, right? The serious ones. Certainly, if they hear about an amazing coach on the other side of the North American continent, they're going to contact that coach because they want to get that shleimus. It means so much to them. So that's just a mushal for us. That's a mushal, but it's important because it means there are people alive today who live like that and who are in their field striving for absolute superiority and will do anything to get there. We're talking about legal things and allowing things. Unfortunately, some people do illegal things also, steroids and whatnot, but they're doing illegal things and correct things, and that's part of which makes sense to them, right? When you say to him, "Oh, do the avocado, pure cocoa, berry ginkgo shake," he's like, "That's really going to give me an advantage." Explain it to me. Yeah, it will, because it's going to clean out your liver, and therefore your muscles are going to be more better toned and make your body fat, your BMI. Oh wow, let's get it. Go get it for me, right? So that's it. Okay, so very mod chashuv. That's how it is. And now when you think about it, avodas Hashem, so that's how it is. My tefillin, my tzitzis, my kriyishma, my ben l'chavero, my holak b'derech Hashem, my avos Hashem, my yiras Hashem, all different areas of our lives. Obviously, tefillin, my psukei d'zimra, birchas hashachar, my tachnun, my Monday Thursday tachnun, my shir shel yom, my kriyas Torah, my musaf, my minchan Shabbos, my vani tefilasi. All these things are part of what's going to get me there. So a person's concerned to himself, wait, I want to make sure, am I saying vani tefilasi the right way? I mean, it's a once a week opportunity. By the way, I heard from people who know Kabbalah that's like a big zach to say vani tefilasi. I have no knowledge of that, but it's there. It's tzedek lolo. No, say it, don't say it. No. Avarachamim, chomi shaosim etzarchet zibur mamuna. That's been one of my favorite Taim in Jewish music. Chomi shaoskim. Yeah, it's a very nice piece. But I don't want to miss the shleimus. Kol shkein and Torah. I'm not going to learn this Tosas well. Again, each person at his level. Each person at his level. Kadosh Baruch Hu is not dorish from any of us what we can't handle. But each of us has a level in Torah that we can reach, which we should reach, which that's our shleimus, like the Balatanya talks about. Our shleimus are the chelik in Torah that we're supposed to reveal to ourselves at least, right? If not to others, those who are zocha to teach others, but this chalakim in ourselves to teach. So, but I learned this Tosas chetzi. I learned this Rashi. So that's a shleimus which is going to be chaser. If I use my mind as much as I can with the balancing going forward and learning it deeply, each person has to balance his learning career the right way and how you learn and what you learn, etc. But these psukim, I want to learn it well. This pasuk in Mishlei, I got to learn it well. This Mesilas Yesharim, I got to learn it well. I mean, there's life lessons over here. So and when someone is like that, they're concerned that they're doing it well. That's a natural thing. Because I don't want to be lacking. I don't want to show up at the end and say, "Oh my gosh, I didn't prepare enough for this meeting. Wow, I knew they were going to ask that question. Whoa. My board member asked that question. Oh, I was waiting for that question, and I was lazy." I remember thinking, he's going to ask me that question. And it's a fair question, and he's a tough guy. The board people are tough, as they should be. And he's going to ask me to explain that statistic, and I'm going to start mumbling, and he's going to see right through it. I got to make sure. No, I don't want that to happen. Let's review the numbers again. Let's get every detail right. Let's be ready for every answer. Right? That's a natural thing for things we care about. Humasha Amar Shlomo. Shlomo Melech, of course, taught us all this. Ashrei Adam Mefachet Tamid. Ashrei, right? Like blessed, fortunate. Ashrei Adam Mefachet Tamid, the person who's always scared, who's always concerned. Uperishu Zichron Levracha Hahu. That's why about Divrei Torah. Being scared, you see the Gemara Brachas there, Daf Samach at the end of Brachas, it's not a good thing to be scared all the time. And we all know, living Emunah, Bitachon means that a person is free. Kadosh Baruch Hu tells us, I'm taking care of everything. You're just sitting in the driver's seat, you're in the back seat. There was a Greyhound commercial. That was a bus company in America. If they're still operating, I think they are. But they would say, leave the driving to us. Like, you sit on the bus. I feel that on a train. Israeli buses are jarring, but you get on the train to the airport. There's a beautiful train here for those who've taken it, 23 minutes, 22 minutes. Sit and relax. Beautiful train station, right? Everybody knows taking Amtrak. I drive from Baltimore to New York. Oh, that's a drive. If you take the train, it doesn't make sense for the yeshiva, it's expensive, but you take the train, you get on the Amtrak, nice big fat seats, a little table. Hopefully, normal people sit next to you, etc. Some Yidden. Okay, maybe the Daf Yomi learners even better, but okay, now you sit, you get work done and think, nod off a little bit. Leave the driving to us. You're going to go worry about the driver. Why is he going 65? Why is he going 70? Don't worry about anything, right? That's the person who's bitachon. That's the whole sign. I think the Chovas Lavav says a bitachon, this person is not bepachad. So what's Asher Adam Mefachad Tamid? What do you mean you're always concerned? You're always nervous. You're always concerned. How about Divrei Torah? When it comes to Divrei Torah, when it comes in Yani Torah, it seems Mesilas Yesharim is learning not just the Limud HaTorah, but it sounds like the klal of Divrei Torah, meaning all the mitzvahs, all this in Yanim, a person is concerned. Now, we must say that important that so I'm working around nervous all the time. I've heard so many shirim about not being nervous and not having nervin. And these stories, someone asked his Rav, does he have to wear a kippah on the beach? And his Rav told him that's just nerves, right? And for sure, we know that people get OCD about religion. So I don't have the perfect formula. I don't right now, just being honest. What's a perfect formula? But I want to talk about, how we get to the perfect formula, friends, is to understand the tensions of the poles. And then when we have those things, we can get to the middle point. Just like Yaakov Avinu is our example of that, right? Avram's chesed and Yitzchak's gvura, and he had both of them, and he brought it to the middle. He wasn't parv. He wasn't lukewarm, Yaakov was very, very hot. He was hot about chesed, and he was hot about gvura, and then he got to the beautiful Tiferes harmony of mitasa shlema, and therefore Yaakov was bechira avos, like the Medrash says. So it's not always about getting the perfect formula, right? There are perfect formulas. I'm not saying just because I don't have it, but I want to talk about the ksavos here, right? For sure, a person has to have a balance, right? When do you know you're out of balance? If people around you are nervous all the time, and your nervousness is making others nervous and uncomfortable and not friendly, and you're not at ease, right? And you're not besimcha. Certainly, if you're OCD, which is a condition, right? If you're OCD, that's a condition that needs a proper tipul. Okay, so let's put that on the side. Not because it's not important, because it's so important. It's not for our little Mesilas Yesharim explained sessions. That's OCD. But there's something else called, no, I'm not OCD, but I have this concern. I'm reading Mesilas Yesharim. I'm an Eved Hashem. I'm trying to take it seriously. I'm a Ben Aliyah, I'm a Bas Aliyah. And he's telling me, in the Gemara, it's a Gemara, right? It's a Daf Yomi. You learn Daf Yomi for 6 weeks. You push through to the end of Brachas, you get there. Asher Adam Mefachad Tamid. So you should be concerned all the time. How would the Divrei Torah Ksiv? So there is a concern. There's no way to avoid what he's saying. There is a concern, what it means. But I understand that has to be balanced out with a calm that I exude and that I give over to people. And I live in myself, that I can handle the concern. We all know if it's too much if I'm too nervous or concerned, whatever the words are, don't get stuck in my words, right? I'm trying to go together with you through the tension and say like, oh, if I'm too, so then I shut down from all that daiga. So obviously that's not what it means. So there's a balance, right? But friends, so now let's just, right? So we're emphasizing no. So I want people around me to be comfortable. I want myself to be comfortable. I want to be a little chilled out, like we say today, the holy word today. Yeah, we have to have that, and I understand that. Okay, but now we can go too far to that. Everybody around me should always be comfortable, and now there's no inner fire. There's no inner daiga. No, that's not it either. So those ksavos. Those are what we're trying to balance. The daiga inside, the concern, the asher mefachad tamid, the pachad. I don't want to mess up. This is big. This is important. This is the Olympics. This is more important than the Olympics. No mashal in the world can really, really approach our avodas Hashem. Not at all. Nothing we can imagine is only a mashal for the real avos Hashem and yiras Hashem, for the real importance of the journey we're on the one hand, and I live with that, and together that I live with that, and I know that part of that is myself not overdoing it, realizing it's a marathon, and knowing that I want to keep other people comfortable and friendly and shalom dik and all that. And how do we perfect formula? I don't know if there's one perfect formula, but I don't got it. But it's there. And I want to emphasize one other thing. Sometimes it's good for our spouses, friends, students to see that we're a little bit of fire concerned. I remember Adi Yom Hazeh, 30 years ago, 32 years ago, I was in a Vad in my yeshiva with Tzika Shlevsky, and there was a very, very chashuv Talmud Chacham named Varya Fredman, and he stepped on my pencil, and maybe he heard it a little bit by accident, of course. I had one of those, I don't know if any, they probably don't exist anymore, but they had this like yellow plastic pencil, and you screw the top, and the pencil, the tip comes out a little bit, right? So it'd save you from chas v'shalom, having to what's it called? Sharpen the pencil. Yeah. So, but that was what he said. And he said, no, he like jumped, like I'm a matzik. I was a damager. He jumped. He was scared of it, and it made an impression to me. Adi Yom Hazeh, a good impression. There was a yid who lived. Anybody knows of Varya Shlita? Still, he should be living and be well. Person who lived with Yerushalayim. For all of those who were, I didn't consider myself a Talmud of his, but he's definitely influenced me, and I saw someone with Yerushalayim. It made an impression. So sometimes, in our concern to be chill, this like make fun of this world a little bit because I think it got a little bit too holy. Everything's about chill, because everybody's this damaged generation which always needs to be pussyfooted around. But we're losing a little bit of that Ashad Mefachet Tamid. And seeing someone with Yerushalayim, and if you have it, I don't know if I have it, but if you have it and you show it to people a little bit, it's good sometimes that they're concerned. Not to yell at them, maybe yell at yourself, but be concerned. Oh my gosh, I almost missed Kriya Shema. I almost was over on Muksa and Shabbos. Like there was, right. If a person sees real things, always have hashpah. Truth is always mashpia. Truth always speaks. Right, you have to tone it down sometimes. That's too much, not overwhelming, not a sandwich. But so that's. So I just wanted to add that because it's Asher Adam Mefachet Tamid for sure. Together with Asher Mefachet Tamid is the people are comfortable around me and I'm comfortable with myself, not crawling out of my skin. Is the OCD, is the nerves, is the story, and it's a lot to put together. It is a lot to put together, but that's what it means. And if sometimes matzitz min hacharakim, if your Shemayim, a fear of sin, fear of lacking shleimus, seeps out sometimes, it could have a tremendously good effect on yourself, on your spouse, on your children, on your students, on your coworkers. Imagine if you saw someone like, we all remember those times. I remember there was a yid, Simchas Pinchas Seipash, the Chron of Bracha, passed away young. He's a tremendous person. He used to cry every slichus in Telstone. There was someone who cared, that made an impression. So that's a certain type of impression. The simcha is an impression, and that's what it's all about. How would the Torah